Have you ever wondered how you'd build a community from the ground up? I mean, really build it, not with a bunch of hype, but with a solid, understandable foundation. Well, today we're going to dig into a system called MapPass that's trying to do exactly that. Let's break down its architecture of access.
Okay, so before we get into any of the mechanics, let's just start with this one big idea. What if a community started with clarity, not hype? Forget the noise, forget the speculation. This single question, right here, is the key to understanding this entire system. It's the philosophy behind everything.
And that clarity really rests on these three pillars: access, identity, and community. These three words are the bedrock. Keep them in your head as we go, because you're going to see how every single piece of this puzzle connects right back to them.
So, let's start with the big picture. What exactly is this new membership model that MapPass is putting on the table?
And its absolute core, MapPass, is a membership system. Simple enough, right? But it's not just about, getting people through the door. It's a framework built for intentional entry, for meaningful belonging, and for organic, real community growth. It's all about providing a clear structure, not some vague promise.
So, what do you actually get when you join? 4 key things. First, you get access. That's just the basic right to enter. Then you get an identity, your own personal ID in the system. You get community, the actual structure to organize with others. And then you get this really interesting one, the capacity to help other people join, which we'll definitely get back to later. But the main takeaway? It all starts with that first step, just getting access.
Now that we know what you get, let's look at the 2 fundamental building blocks you'll be dealing with: your keys and your ID.
First up, we have access keys. The best way to think of these is like a simple permission slip. They just grant you permission to enter the MapPass system. And it's super important to understand what they are not. They're not an investment, and they are not NFTs. They're purely about access. That's it. Now, once you use your keys to get in, you can unlock your MapPass ID. This is your digital identity. It's what represents you and confirms that you belong here. And here's the critical difference. Unlike the access keys, your ID is an NFT.
This is probably the most important distinction to really get. Access keys let you in. The MapPass ID shows that you belong. One is just a permission slip to enter the building, the other is your name on the directory. One is a tool, the other, the NFT, is part of your identity in this community. This separation is the core mechanic of the whole thing.
Okay, so we understand the pieces. Keys for access, and ID for belonging. But how do you actually, get in? That brings us to the 2 very distinct paths for joining this community.
This is the big practical question, isn't it? Okay, sounds cool. How do I join? Well, the system gives you 2 very different but totally valid options.
And here they are. Path 1 is what we'll call gradual entry, where you just collect access keys over time. Path 2 is direct entry, where you can buy your MapPass ID instantly. It's the same destination, just 2 different journeys to get there.
All right, so if you choose that first path, the gradual one, then this is your magic number, 10. You collect 10 access keys, and with those, you can unlock your MapPass ID. That's the moment you turn that simple access into true belonging. Or hey, maybe you prefer the more direct route. In that case, you can get your MapPass ID for a one-time cost of $24. This just instantly unlocks your identity and includes all the access you need all in one go.
So that's how a person joins. But how does the community grow? See, this whole thing isn't designed to be a solo mission, which brings us to our next section, growing together.
This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of the growth model. MapPass is designed to grow through people, not ads. It's all about genuine person-to-person connection, not just throwing money at marketing.
So how does that actually work in practice? Well, members can hold extra access keys specifically to help other people get in. You can send them to your friends, help bring on your local community groups. It's all about sharing that opportunity person to person.
And to really make that happen, the system introduces another key number, 12. And you might be thinking, hang on, wait a sec, didn't you just say it takes 10 keys to join? And yeah, you're right. And that's exactly the point.
It's because of this thing called the Community Access Key Pack. For the same price as buying a direct ID, that's $24, you can get 12 keys instead. Now, this isn't just a bonus, it's a feature. It's specifically designed for inclusion. You get the 10 you need for yourself, plus 2 extra keys with the sole purpose of helping others join. It literally bakes community growth right into the system.
And that brings us right back to where we started. If you're going to build a community on a solid foundation, you have to be totally, completely clear about your principles. It has to be about clarity, not hype.
Part of building trust is being really upfront about what you are not. So MapPass is not a get-rich-quick scheme. The keys are not speculative assets to be flipped for a profit. This is not some structure that forces you to recruit people. And it's not a community that's designed to reward empty hype.
So when you put it all together, why are people drawn to this? It's pretty simple, really. The entry is accessible to everyone. The structure actually makes sense. The community feels human because, well, it grows in a human way, and the whole system is built to grow right alongside its members. It all comes back to that clarity and sense of belonging.
And that brings us to the final, ultimate takeaway. After all the mechanics, the keys, the IDs, the different paths in, what is it all for? It's for this one simple, powerful idea. Access is what we share, identity is what makes us personal, but community is the goal. That's what this entire architecture is built to serve.